האתגרים שיש לנו?
Probably the first thing, probably Paul can talk a little bit about the project team, which we have with Liz Beretta, that has spent some time in the Tel Aviv office already.
אז פול יספר לנו על הצוות הזה ומשהו, כבר הם היו חלק מהזמן, אז כבר הם היו אצלנו במשרדים.
We have a lot of systems there which are a little, I guess, a little very manual, you know, very paper orientated, very labor orientated in that office.
Right now.
Correct.
יש הרבה מערכות במשרדים שלנו שהן בעצם מופעלות בצורה ידנית, אוטומטית. והן כרגע בטיפול, והמעבר ביניהן לבין המערכות האוטומטיות יוצר.
He talks. Yeah, that's good. It's good.
Yeah.
You want me to start now?
Go for it.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'll just talk about this. I will talk about this project that we're doing in Israel so you understand where we are. But of course, Simon's absolutely correct. We're here for you today. You've made a huge effort to come here, so please feel free to ask all the questions you need.
אז אנחנו נדבר על זה, ואתם עשיתם מאמץ גדול, עשינו מאמץ גדול להגיע לפה, אז תרגישו חופשי להגיד הכל.
So firstly, history. We have had the office in Israel open for over 6 years now.
7. In January it will be 7.
Yep, nearly 7 years.
אז אנחנו פתוחים בישראל 7 שנים.
It was pretty much set up individually without being involved in the rest of Europe, but it opened as an independent country.
זה נפתח כמדינה עצמאית, לא שייך לאירופה.
So during the time of the harmonization where the American business bought back all of the companies in Europe,
אז בזמן הזה שבו השוק האמריקאי קנה בחזרה את השוק האירופאי,
and all of these companies were brought together,
ואז הפך להיות, כולם בעצם הצטרפו אחד לשני,
Israel pretty much has been left on its own.
ישראל נשארה לבדה.
We
used to it.
do we want honest?
Yeah, we want honest, only honest.
Okay. So Israel's been left on its own. So we pretty much acknowledge that we have now divided Europe into 3 regions.
אז עכשיו בעצם חילקנו את אירופה לשלושה אזורים.
We know that we have Northern Europe, which is Matthias's region.
יש את החלק הצפוני של אירופה, שזה מתיאס, שראינו אותו היום על הבמה.
Northern Europe also includes Dubai.
וזה כולל גם את דובאי.
Okay, it's funny. There's a reason for it.
יש
Okay.
לזה סיבה טובה.
Reason number 1. Matthias Mildenborn, his previous job was in Morocco.
הסיבה אחת זה שהוא קודם היה במרוקו.
So he has some Arabic.
And Egypt before that.
And before then Egypt, yes.
ולפני זה מצרים, אז יש לו את הערבית.
So he understands the culture and he has some language skills.
והוא מבין את התרבות.
Sorry?
ואת השפה, כן.
Different languages.
Yes.
Yeah.
So number 2, our biggest leader in Dubai
מנהיג, הלידר.
is
Leader, how do you translate leader?
Leader in slang.
Our biggest, מנהיג הכי גדול בדובאי.
our biggest leader is Mr. John Halawati. So we support John Halawati. He works in Dubai with the same compensation plan, the same promotions. It's the same. It makes it easier for him to develop the business with us in Dubai. Okay?
אז הם תומכים בעסק של ג'ון הלואטי, אותה תוכנית תגמולים ואותה שיטה.
That makes sense now. Now you get why Dubai is part of Northern Europe, right? Okay. The next region we have is Southern Europe.
האזור השני זה דרום אירופה.
Southern Europe, that's Fabio Fiorellino, Italian, and he's responsible for Italy and Spain.
זה איטליה וספרד.
And of course, we're now opening Portugal. That will be part of Southern Europe.
ועכשיו נפתח את פורטוגל, אז זה יהיה חלק מדרום אירופה.
And Romania is a Latin language language which is very close to Italian in Romania. It's not Slavic. People think, oh, it's East. It's not Slavic. It's Latin. It's the only Eastern European Latin country, so that goes underneath Fabio as well.
אז רומניה, בגלל שהיא גם דוברת שפה לטינית ולא סלאבית, גם היא מצטרפת לדרום אירופה.
And Ernesto is left with everything else.
Is it possible for a question? What about Hungary?
Hungary has been opened in the past. We used to sell products from Hungary in the past, but it's a small market, really small market. It's complicated. It's on our list of markets, but it's not our first market.
הונגריה הייתה פתוחה בעבר, שוק קטן, ומסובך.
What is the reason? This is a small market?
It's population-wise is for us it's small for us. We would have to do a whole language exercise. We don't have a lot of leadership currently operating there. We closed the Hungarian business down a few years ago because it wasn't very. We had a business there. We pulled away from the business there a few years ago.
לא הצליח העסק שלו.
Does that make sense?
See how short I made it?
Thank you so much. I'm not sure what it is. So
The business will succeed there.
we never officially opened it. People started working in Hungary and it wasn't successful and it didn't create a good image for us. So if we want to go back to there, we have to do it in a proper way. Product registrations, country manager, the whole thing. It's a big investment for a small market.
הרבה השקעה לשוק קטן.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I like that. We're doing it the other way around. So Central Europe, Ernesto Hartog has the rest. Central Europe. He has everything from Belgium, the Netherlands, all the way to Israel.
אוקיי, אז אנחנו מתחת לארנסטו.
So
She make the shorts.
is everybody okay with the translation?
Yeah.
Is everybody
אתם
okay
רוצים להחליף אותי?
maybe Tati, you actually speak. So we have part of his region is called, we call it Western Europe, and that is now going to be Benelux and France. Okay, that's 4 countries, and Mr. Alexander Coelho is currently managing that area.
אוקיי, אז חלק מהאזור הזה של תחת ארנסטו נקרא מערב אירופה.
Okay, Alexander Coelho speaks Dutch, German, and French, so he's the perfect person to take over those markets when he's ready.
אוקיי, אז זה מדינות הבנלוקס, בלגיה,
Yeah.
הולנד,
And France.
צרפת.
About Flemish.
Yeah, he speaks Flemish too.
Flemish
Yeah,
French.
he speaks. Alexander Coelho also speaks Portuguese as well, but that's another. Alexander Coelho speaks 5 languages. So he's our lawyer, but he's very interested in developing those markets. The next is we have Mr. Michał Gazowski, who's currently responsible for Poland, but he also speaks Polish and Russian.
Ooh.
Okay.
זה שזה שם, לא הבנתי אותו, שהוא...
מיכאל.
מדבר פולנית וגם רוסית.
So eventually that will also be separated out to be a different Eastern European region.
אז זה יהפוך להיות מזרח אירופה.
And that means Europe or Central Europe is effectively the Dach region and Israel.
אז אנחנו בעצם שייכים לסנטרל, אירופה המרכזית. דח, רואים פה את הדח?
Dach is D for Germany, A for Austria, CH for Switzerland. It means Dach.
אז אנחנו שייכים, מה זה good company? אוסטריה, גרמניה, ושווייץ, וישראל.
Look, we have a board. We paid for it. I'm using it.
No, that's
Dach. That's Deutschland, Austria, and Switzerland.
Deutsch.
שווייץ.
That's how they call it in Switzerland. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't done that now. So I won't be a teacher.
No, you won't. We can see
You
that.
can make it dachi.
Dachi.
Because
Israel.
I for Israel.
Yeah, exactly. So that is reason
That
Dachi.
could be it. That is a new one for Nesta.
Are you okay with the I? I for Israel?
Yeah.
It is
That's how you write it.
So
Israel.
Ernesto is Dachi. So Ernesto got Israel. Ernesto is responsible for Israel because Ernesto has been in our company for nearly 20 years. Okay, he has a very strong relationship with Yona. And also I think he has a very strong relationship with Liat. I think his experience, whereas Matthias has been in the company only for 1 year and a half, and Fabio in the company for 1 year, to me, I wanted this market to be in the hands of more experienced person.
כולם הבינו?
Claro? I'm speaking slowly. So that's why you're part of that region. Ernesto has a lot of things on his plate today, but that next year will be less job for him to do.
אז הוא אנסו יחסית עסוק, ואולי שנה הבאה יהיה לו קצת פחות דברים לעשות, ואז הוא יתעסק איתנו.
So in this process of assigning you to a region, which happened this year,
אז בתהליך הזה שחיברו אותנו לאיזשהו אזור,
finally, we wanted to be sure that you had the same processes and procedures in your market as we have in the whole of the Dachi region.
הם רצו לוודא שיהיה לנו את אותם כלים ואותם תהליכים שיש בשווקים האלה שהצטרפנו אליהם.
Okay. And that's where we found out, that the processes were not the same.
אבל אז גילינו שהתהליכים שונים.
That's where we found out that a lot of the processes that you are using in the Israel office are processes that are not aligned with the rest of the way we work.
התהליכים שאנחנו משתמשים בישראל הם לא
בקו אחד.
So we, as Simon already said, a lot of manual processes, payment systems not really functioning, not in an automated way. So a lot of process which involves, for the Israel office, a lot of administration work. Everything takes longer than it needs to.
אז הרבה תהליכים קורים בצורה ידנית, זה לוקח למשרדים שלנו, זה הופך אותם לא יעילים, וזה לוקח להם המון זמן להתעסק עם זה.
And you were not part of the global phone system. You had your own phone system.
למשל מערכת הטלפונים, לנו היה את שלנו באופן ייחודי.
And now they change it, right?
Oh yeah. I'll go there.
Process.
You were not part of the global customer service system. We have a global system for recording information about the customers and partners. We have that system. It's called Novamind. You didn't have that.
יש מערכת גלובלית של שירות לקוחות שגם אנחנו לא חלק ממנה.
So we had a lot. So we sent a project team.
אז שלחנו יחידת משימה, יחידת פרויקט.
The leader of our project team was a young lady called Liz Beretta.
ליז ברטה היא המנהיגה, מובילת הפרויקט.
She's been in the Juice Plus company for 20 years.
וואו.
כבר 20 שנה עם ג'וס פלוס.
It's like, for me, she is my right hand. She is amazing.
היא מדהימה, היא היד ימין שלו.
Every process, procedure, system, she understands.
היא מבינה את כל התהליכים, את כל ה...
Yeah. And everybody knows that she knows better than everybody else. So when Liz recommends something on an email or says, I suggest we do this, everyone just goes, yes, thanks Liz, thank you. Good, thank you, done, move on. So we have the wonderful Liz was the leader of the project team. So we sent a team which was Liz, it was finance, it was logistics, it was customer service. There was a team of 5 people who went to the Israel office for a week and did a thorough investigation of processes, trainings, everything in that office to see how that operated. And that was done in, I'm going to say August this year.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, we had the IT team arrive to do some of the upgrades.
Okay.
אז באוגוסט הם שלחו צוות שמכל החלקים של העסק שלנו, והם בדקו לעומק את כל הדברים שצריך לעשות.
So this team came on board to find out what needed to happen. The IT was there as well. They came to the Israel office to have a look to see what happened, and then they send me a report, and every week they tell me an update of the status of the reimagination of the structure of the Israel office. Okay.
From August.
It started from August, yes.
אז הם שלחו לו דוח מאוד מאוד מפורט של כל חלק בתהליך שכבר קורה.
So 2 weeks ago, the phone system was finally upgraded.
אז לפני שבועיים, סוף סוף המערכת טלפונים.
So we switched the phone system into a new system 2 weeks ago.
The hardware, not the software, and this they didn't communicate between them.
There was it wasn't done as best as it could. That's what I'm saying. The upgrade happened, but in my view, it wasn't tested adequately before they left the office. And I understand now the phone systems are working good now. You're saying no, they're not working still?
The phone system are working like with the white bird that's flying with the nose.
Pigeon.
Pigeon doesn't work.
The pigeon
Even worse.
The pigeon
It's
works
terrible.
After the upgrade, it was even
It's
worse.
worse.
For Noah, it worked better. with the pigeon at the.
She's talking Bible stories.
Yeah.
No, it's the same.
read
It's
that
like
book.
talking about Venice.
You read it back.
Venice and the Bible was the same age, no?
Okay, so we did the upgrade last 2 weeks ago, and we understand from Yona's response the next day that things did not
Won't
go
work,
well.
no.
Okay,
No.
so
No.
we have a process. The first thing is, it's like all the systems upgrades. Okay, you go from where we were to where we need to be. Juice Plus needs to get better at not just the upgrading, but also the testing processes, which we are. I was in Memphis this week. What day are we today? Saturday. I got back from Memphis. I left Memphis on Thursday. And I sat down with Sean Hopkins, who's the guy responsible for our IT area, and we've agreed that the testing processes are in massive need of upgrading. We are launching something next week now in Europe, and the European team is going to be responsible. Miller
First time.
has taken responsibility for the testing of it. So we're not leaving it to.
הכל בסדר.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So it's all good. Thank you very much. Sorry.
בתכלס אנחנו בתהליך של שדרוג, אבל כמו שרועי אומר, זה לוקח זמן עד שזה מסתנכרן אחד עם השני. יש חומרה, אבל עדיין אין תוכנה, אז פשוט זה נופל בין הכיסאות.
So
כרגע זה לא עובד.
we're not good on the testing. And that's something that we need to put into the hands of not. So far, the IT team has been responsible for testing, and we've decided that the testing should not be done by IT. The testing needs to be done by the business. So the business understands what they need to get out of the system. So that's a new thing that's going to be happening with effect from the new rollout, which we have for something next week.
אז יש בעיה עם היישום בסדר, אבל יש בעיה עם לבחון את זה, לראות איך זה עובד בשטח. ואז הם ראו שבזה הם לא כל כך טובים. אז הם אמרו, אוקיי, אז שהבחינה של היישום תעבור לשטח, לביזנס, למי שצריך את זה, למי שיודע מה שהוא רוצה, ולא בידי יחידת פיתוח של המחשבים, כי הם לא יודעים מה הצרכים של השוק.
So I'm interested. Tell me. So it's clear for me because I have different messages. Okay.
Okay.
Tell me what exactly, and just one by one. Maybe sorry to be. Put your hand up and just tell me what is the problem you're suffering with the phone system right now.
There is no answer.
Okay, that's
You always,
different.
sometimes you just get to
Okay.
The machine.
electronic machine.
Okay.
Sometimes it hangs you up
Right.
Hangs you up without further notice.
without
Nothing.
even.
Okay. So that's first point is not answering.
Yeah.
That's not an IT
You want me
issue.
to write it down here?
Oh, what a great idea! Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
I'm not going to write anything again.
He's not a teacher.
For your whole life.
I'm not writing anything. So
Oh,
I want
let
to
me
be a
help a
teacher.
little bit.
Sorry.
Let me help a little bit. It's not answering why the office says they don't get in any phone calls in. So we don't get a response, and when I call Liat on the phone, on personal phone, so she tells me, listen,
There was no ringing.
no ringing.
Okay.
So
So this is different to no answer.
Yeah.
This is the phone is not ringing. Okay. Then you're also telling me eventually it just
It's
Sometimes
hang
it
up.
hangs up.
It hang up.
goes dead.
Yeah. You're waiting and it's hang up.
When
hangs up.
is this happened? When is this today? Yesterday? Day
All the
before?
time.
long
All the
time.
time.
Long time. Long
For
time.
months.
Since
Okay.
Wednesday was the last update that I checked.
Last Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I will get an answer on that one. No ringing. Also the hanging up or the
Hanging
line
up.
going dead. Any more things on this? Okay. Great. So I will just add one other point on this on the line thing. I will check, and I will get that check as a matter of urgency. It'll be done next week. The phone systems will be done technically perfectly next week. They can do it, and I will get that happening next week. Technically, we have one issue is personnel level right now in Israel. You know that, right?
Yeah.
We have
Six representatives.
Lior is still not back from maternity. And we have lost a few of the people who are on the telephones, so we have shortage of numbers. What we're doing, of course, is we are hiring people to replace those that we have lost, but you have to train them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first thing. If we put somebody, is okay?
כן, יש
מחסור בכוח אדם.
וגם כששוכרים כוח אדם חדש, אז צריך לאמן אותו.
לוקח זמן
בהתחלה, זה לוקח זמן.
So we got to train the people, and because you can't just get someone to answer the phone after 2 weeks. They've got to really understand their business to answer the telephone. That takes time. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is we are now, because you're linked to the global system, you will get the benefit that when there's nobody in the Israel office, it will switch to, automatically switch to, so it won't ring 3 times, but it will be ringing in London at the same time as it's ringing in Israel.
Like follow me.
But then it
No,
will be
not a follow me.
No, it's better.
Not a follow me.
לא, זה
At
ביחד.
the same time, because it's the same system. And we will have, so we will know our manager, our Central Europe manager, her name is Swami. She is looking at the amount of agents across the whole of the region who are available and speak Hebrew.
וואו.
Do you have some?
We have hired some more people for London who are in training. But also the new system, when you answer the system and it's working correctly, also gives you the opportunity to say, hello, welcome to Juice Plus, what language would you like?
וואו.
If you want Hebrew, press 1. If you want
amazing.
English, press 2. If you want Russian, press 3.
Nice.
Nice.
That, because we have Russian speakers now in the office as well. Okay, so that's what the global system will give us when it's functioning correctly.
when.
I will make sure.
So one of the, אז היתרון הגדול בזה שהצטרפנו לתוכנית הגלובלית שלהם, זה שאם זה לא יענה בארץ, זה עובר אוטומטית, זה מצלצל באותו זמן באנגליה, ושם יש אנשים שיכולים לענות. עכשיו יהיה איזה בורר שיחות כזה, שישאל באיזה שפה אתה רוצה שיענו לך. עברית תלחץ 1, רוסית תלחץ 2 וכו'.
I just to be sure that I understood the translation. So it's not, the phone will not ring in England if it's not answered in.
It's the same time.
It's the same.
Because in the morning, Swami will come in and see, oh, there's only 4 people on the phones today in Israel, so I'll quickly add 3 people on the phones from London, so the numbers are immediately boosted.
Great.
That's how that works.
But
And that will happen next
then
week.
how the people in
That's-
London will know how to
Because they'll be trained on the
address-
compensation.
Oh,
rules.
okay.
So that won't happen next week. The technical part I'll take care of. The training will be 2-4 weeks out. Okay?
Okay.
You need to just wait. We've hired the people both in Israel and in London, but we're going to make sure that we have them trained
And
correctly.
you say they speak Hebrew, these people?
Yeah, yeah.
There's so many Hebrew
Speak
speakers in
Hebrew,
England.
אבל איך הם ידעו על משלוחים, לא משלוחים, כן קיבל.
In London, what languages can't I find?
הם יראו את זה במחשב.
הם יכולים לחזור אליו.
הם יראו את זה במחשב את הכל.
They need to read
And
and write.
They will be from Israel. They will be Israelis. That's we're not going to get somebody who's done a 2-week Hebrew course.
No, we don't already. אנחנו חילק כמוהו, הוא
We
עושה
are
את
looking
זה.
at
one month, it's enough.
It's the same thing as we have
It's
across.
not only Hebrew, it's being in Israel, it's something else.
That's true. That's true. We have this on all of our lines. We don't hire. I mean, those of you who've been and visited London, you know when you go to the restaurants and bars in London, you never meet an English person.
No.
The English people don't live in London. It's your Italians, your Germans, your Dutch, everybody's there except the English people, except Simon and I. Simon, you don't live in London.
Correct.
So we will find Israelis to man the phones in those offices. There are plenty of Israelis living. There's a whole town in London. Who knows where it is?
Yeah.
Gold is green.
Yeah.
That is our Israeli part of London town. Israeli town. So, okay.
So it will be helpful, this system too will be helpful for our team outside of Israel, team in Europe or customers in Europe, because now the Israeli office can't really help with them. So now we can have help with customers all over the world and distributors,
Yes.
right?
And that means also, just by the way, if that's dead right, if you have a distributor or a partner We say partner now. Partner.
Sorry, partner.
If we have a partner in France, for example,
Yeah.
who would prefer to speak in Hebrew, they call on the French line and say, "Could I speak to a Hebrew-speaking operator?"
Wow.
And they can get you transferred.
Nice.
Oh.
So it won't, on the French lines, it won't say, "Do you want to speak in
course.
French or Hebrew?" or it won't go to that list. But everybody knows who the Hebrew speakers are. It's like right now we have 2 or 3 Romanian speakers already, and I know I was actually. Did you see me on the social media? I was on the phones a few weeks ago. So I answered a few phone calls, and one of the phone calls I answered was for somebody who clearly had a Romanian name. So I said, "Do you want to speak to me, or do you want to speak to my Romanian friend?" "Oh, you have Romanian?" "Yes." So we did the transfer to a Romanian speaker. Perfect. For an English person on the. So that's the plan. You'll have the possibility that the language will be in the London call centre.
And also to the US.
This is a secondary phase, right? This is okay. This is global strategy now. Okay, great.
No, because we have other problems.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Just 1 second. A global. So we have in the last it was this year we put all of the contact centres, all of them, underneath a guy called Randy Matthews. So Randy Matthews has been in the Juice Plus company for nearly 20 years.
30 years.
Okay, so nearly 30 years. Is it Matthews or
Counts.
Matthews? So he's that's what he is, and he's a fantastic guy. And he's based in Memphis, and he was responsible for the US call center. He's now responsible for the UK call center, and he's responsible for the Malaysian call center. 3 call centers, almost exactly 8 hours apart from each other. It means 3 times 8 is 24. So we have round follow the sun with 3 call centers. So that is currently what we're working on, is a follow the sun 24-hour call center capability. Okay, that's not for this year. That's not for this year.
אוקיי,
כן,
מדובר על להפוך את כל העולם למרכזייה אחת גדולה, שבכל רגע נתון שמישהו יתקשר לג'וס פלאס יהיה לו מענה
בשפה שלו.
בשפה שלו. זה הרעיון, זה לשם זה הולך.
So Randy's 30 years experience. He's run the call centers
יש
there.
בחור שעובד 30 שנה בג'וס פלאס והוא אחראי על זה.
זה הולך לי...
וואו.
And Randy, I'm quite happy, even though he's based in Memphis, is part of my team. So he's part of the globalization team, if you wanted. So I'm really very happy to have Randy on board. Randy is also responsible for global compliance as well with me, so that's cool too. Okay, sorry.
You want to be a friend of Randy.
Yeah, it's true. With Randy has now more than I can say. Randy has probably 1/3 of all employees in Juice Plus work for Randy.
או.
עוד דברים?
Okay, other questions?
כן.
Is it possible to ask about ingredients of
No.
products?
לפני, before maybe to a little
The ingredients questions, I'm not an expert, but there is an amazing expert here called Sue. You may have seen her on stage. Yeah? And if that's something you want to talk about whilst you're here, tomorrow I'm sure that Simon can organise a time for those of you who want to do a smaller group to talk about products, what and why. I think that's a big question. Why have we changed the oil in Omega? Why have we done
You
the...
changed the oil, Amiga?
Did we?
No.
Oh, no, different example. Well, so if you want to ask questions about products, I think who would like to be in a meeting about products?
Quite a few.
Okay.
So we can arrange.
I'm going to ask Simon if he can organise a meeting for you to sit around a table with Sue Oldrive, who's been with us for a while. She is our expert nutritionist. Okay.
Okay, and
Great, thank you.
please, what about the expiration date of the products when they get to Israel? We have some problems with the customers getting complete with 2 months ahead expiration date. And this is something I think it's connected with.
That is, unfortunately, that is one of the areas that we found. So that's a different answer. That's a phone system. So this is a new subject now. New subject.
Yeah, we're
This is not.
These are problems.
This is not a product supply problem. It's a warehousing problem that you have, that the Israel business has. We identified this. we are not comfortable with the current warehousing organization, and we have selected another one. So we'll be moving into a different warehouse. We found a warehouse which is nicer, that we prefer it. It'll be more expensive.
It will be our own warehouse?
No, we're not going to have our own. It's still third-party warehouse, but
Okay.
a better one, which we prefer. We prefer this warehouse to the one we currently have. We have got our logistics team so our internal logistics teams have audited warehouses, and we've selected a new one. It's more expensive, but we believe that the Juice Plus company needs that level of service. So that will significantly, when that happens, that will significantly change the level of service that you have been enduring recently.
תודה רבה.
לא, מחליפים מחסן, המחסן שירותי המחסן שקיבלנו עד היום לא היו מי יודע מה טובים, אז הם בחרו מחסן יקר יותר, אבל טוב יותר שמתאים לסטנדרטים של ג'וס.
So we had, before I received your email, Roy, we had already done the audit and already made a decision that we wanted to change the warehousing. And it was only we received your email did we realize how bad it was with the current supplier. But we need to have one this one's actually owned by a global, the one we're looking at is owned by a global player. So it's not independent, but it is an Israeli company owned by, run locally, but run by one of the big boys, okay? It's good.
Yeah, so בישראל זה חברה ישראלית, אבל זו חברה בת של חברה עולמית גדולה.
It means we have the two benefits. Number one is we have the benefit of a local company with local knowledge, and number two, they are supported by a global player with global contacts and global service levels. Okay?
אז יש לזה שני פתרון אחד שזה חברה מקומית, אז היא מכירה את הצרכים של השוק שלנו. פתרון נוסף זה שהיא מתחת לחברה גלובלית שיש לה סטנדרט גלובלי.
So that is we know that's a pain point for you. We addressed it before the emails. It's changing a logistics supplier is tough, eh?
Wow.
It involves software, moving product. There will be some pain during this process. Every transition, every change. Who likes moving house?
No one. No one.
And you'll lose something on the move, right? You'll lose something that you really love on the move, and your shirt will get dirty. The one you really love will get dirty. These things happen on the. So we will be moving house. There will be some pain, but the end result is we get to the house we deserve to be in, right? Okay.
Would you consider having the CHS in Israel as it is globally?
He doesn't know about the change in Israel.
No.
He doesn't know about the change in Israel. I don't think he knows. You know that we are only...
Okay, the unpaid thing, okay? Do you know what we're talking about?
Tell me what you mean.
There are some payments that are not being processed well. Wait, someone's calling me from Israel. Just there is a line where you do the report, the third report from the back office, that stated unpaid. These are payments that didn't go through. So
credit cards are cancelled and stuff like this. Expired.
So these are points, pay line. Sometimes it makes a difference whether you got the promotion or not.
Okay.
And we need to chase the girls. Please check it. Please go.
This is not CHS. This is collections.
No,
Yes.
these
No,
are
no,
two different.
Okay.
She stopped me with the CHS. So
Okay.
I know it's
So CHS, I don't know the question. I'm happy to learn about it.
So let's finish with the unpaid and then go back. To
Okay, on the unpaid, one of the team members that came out was Peter Bruce, who's the head of our, we call it revenue protection team. Okay, so he's got two functions. Well, he's got one function to protect our revenue. Okay, and how does he do that? First of all, to make sure we can attract as much cash into the company, and number two, that we make sure that we get all the cash that we've attracted to the company. You understand the difference? Number one, the more payment methods you have, the more cash you can attract. And then the better your collection processes, the more money you can keep
Yeah, let me
Yeah.
explain that.
Sometimes it's
This is
an
important.
experiment.
רגע,
תעצרו שנייה.
יש, על החברה יש שני מטרות. מטרה אחת זה להכניס כמה שיותר פוטנציאלי כסף, והמטרה השנייה זה באמת לגבות אותו בפועל. אז ככל שיש לנו יותר אופציות לגבייה, נגיד גם תשלומים וגם זה וגם זה,
אולי פייפל,
או פייפל או כאלה, אז כאילו יותר כסף, היא תמשוך יותר כסף, העניין הוא שצריך גם לגבות אותו.
So you don't have the right payment methods in Israel right now.
No, we
And
don't.
so we have already contracted with, and we're now going through the process of ensuring the integration takes place. We're contracting with a company called Transilla. Does that mean anything?
Yeah.
No.
אז הם יצרו קשר עם חברה שנקראת טרנזילה, שעוסקת.
Does anyone know what that means?
No, שמעתי.
Okay, so Transilla is a specific payment organization that is focused on the Israeli market. It means that we will offer multiple payment methods in Israel.
אז נציע
nice.
הרבה יותר שיטות של תשלום, אז גם יותר אנשים יוכלו לשלם, וגם הגבייה תהיה יותר טובה, ואז זה פחות
And it will be
עקבי.
directed from the back office?
Yep, it's straight through. Normal, so we'll just, instead of just being credit card or cash, now you've got different options. You'll have to pay by credit cards. Different.
The application like Israeli
Israeli.
like Beat and
Israeli,
others,
yep, that's right.
and Paybox and all of these.
I'm not sure which ones there will be, but there'll be more option than you currently have, because Transilla supports the Israeli market.
And what about Dan's credit card?
Don't have the details. All I know is
Transilla היא אחת החברות הגדולות.
yeah, I just know there'll be more Israeli options for you.
טרנזילה היא
So
אחת
this will
החברות
reduce the unpaid line, that's
No,
what you're saying?
that will be the first step. The first step is to be able to give you more payment options to attract more money in.
Yeah.
Okay, first step. Then we will effectively be controlling that through the collections team that we have in London, and we have a collections process which has not been implemented in Israel. So we have an entire process, a team of 15 people who are responsible for ensuring that collections are paid. We do not expect the field to be collecting money. The company's job, once you've got the sale, is our job, is to chase the revenues.
Thank you. Can we sign you on this?
Where is that?
So,
כולם הבינו? מה שהוא אומר זה שקודם כל ירחיבו לנו את האפשרויות לתשלומים, זה כבר אמרנו, והדבר השני, יש להם יחידה שמתעסקת בגבייה. וזה לא צריך להיות התפקיד שלנו כזכיינים להתעסק בגבייה, אלא זה התפקיד של החברה לגבות את הכספים שמגיעים לה, זה ירד מאיתנו.
not this one. Not this one.
So we're in love now, we're in love, okay, great.
Something different. Are we
Have
done?
we finished this subject
Yes,
yet?
yes.
No,
Not different.
When is it going to happen?
That's exactly good. We need a date. So we are waiting for, so Transilla is contracted with. Transilla is the company providing the payment solutions for us.
Yeah.
And they have to be integrated to our new middleware software. This is technical detail.
No, it's not. It's
Has to be integrated with our ACI software. That's what we're waiting for. So we're just waiting for ACI, who's our middleware software, to give us the date with the integration will be completed.
And
Now
you think
I'm
about
pushing. I pushed Peter Bruce. He says, "Oh, it's months, not weeks." I said, "Peter, really?" So I will push him again, but I would hope this will be done before. It's not going to be this year because what's the date today? Today is we're in the middle of November.
Yeah.
We don't work after the middle of December. It doesn't happen, you know. So we have a month. Nothing will be happening before the end of December. But I will push for that to be completed for January. Also, remember, we need to then implement brand new systems, letters, which will be sent out from the office. So we'll be chasing payment. Phone calls will be initiated from the office. Brand new systems will need to be implemented. People will need to be changed. So we'll get that ready for January. Okay.
So this 15 people process is going to be around January, and
That's-
also the payment method.
That they'll be all together. But Transilla and the collections process will be coming in the new year.
Transilla sounds good.
Now, can we go back to the stages?
And we know where you live.
Wait, when?
Tell you so, actually.
No, I know where you live. Have you ever seen my house on Facebook?
עוד בעיות
In the new system, is it going to be like now when we get to a certain rank, we need to update the company that we're
Yeah.
DD, we're JPF, and it's running after them and telling them, and if I forget, it's not written anywhere.
And then
Okay.
people don't get their commission.
So that's not CHS yet. CHS still has
No.
gone to the side here before. We'll come
For a
back.
second,
Let's come back to
just
see.
I
Okay.
just,
Don't worry,
on the
Lilach
new-
will bring it up.
לילך, ה-CHS הולכים
So,
לדבר על זה בשיחה
The question
ביחד,
is it
אנחנו
going to be
נחליט מה
updated
שאנחנו רוצים.
automatically once the system sees you got to a certain point?
Are you ready for this?
Yes, please.
So our new system, which will be implemented in test in February, what it will do is it will have and we're actually launching something to test out. So it gives you a taste of this. We're all launching that this month. But our new system will have a dashboard which will show you